Good evening, my name is Tim Painter and I'm an attorney in Denver, Colorado. I think I must be one of thousands of people who are devastated by the law that was passed in Arizona. How tragic it is to chase people down, poor people down in the middle of the desert, when we have terrorists and drug people coming over the border, and our materials could be spent, our assets could be spent so much better there. I vote for comprehensive immigration reform. And comprehensive immigration reform does several things. First of all, comprehensive immigration reform takes care of the border. Section 101 provides for bulletproof vests for every single Border Patrol agent. I think that's a pretty good thing. It also provides for $1 billion a year for 4 years to beef up our nation's seaports. I think that's a pretty good thing. It also provides for an assessment of all of our border situations and our border assets to make a determination about how best to spend our money. Now, who could argue that? Well, the conservative talk show radio boys can. They've always got a beef about something. And surely border security, while they cry about it all day, is sitting in front of their nose and they're not willing to take it. Doesn't make sense to me. Other issues we have with our undocumented workers are driver's licenses. Wouldn't it be nice if we had every driver on the road with a license? And along with that license, he'd have insurance. Most people that I know, most of my clients, would love to have insurance, but they can't get a license. And therefore they don't have insurance, and then we have accidents and we have to figure out ways to solve things with no insurance. The other benefit of driver's licenses, we get to identify who they are. When a policeman rolls up to my window and asks me for my driver's license, he goes back to his patrol car, dumps all the material into his machine, and he knows who I am. But when you have somebody who's undocumented and we haven't given them licenses, he doesn't have any clue who this person is. And so I think it's a terrible policy from a policing point of view. We have several other issues which are so critical to immigration reform, things that perhaps are beyond the scope of this tape. One is the DREAM Act, and what that entails is letting young people of undocumented workers who came here through no fault of their own, they were brought here by their parents and now have grown, go to college, get a college education, improve themselves, add to society, pay their taxes, and at the same time help break the chain of poverty. That's been a huge error that we made during the 1960s with the African American movement. We didn't break the chain of poverty, and that's something I feel that we must do this time. We now have the opportunity to remedy our errors and put things right. Well, let's do it. Other issues are tearing families apart. We hear from the conservative right about family values. But what family value is there in taking a mother and sending her home to Mexico and leaving her 2 children here with their father growing up without a mother? Or a mother and father who have their son ripped away from them, say a 12-year-old boy, to be sent to Mexico. The mother and father will remain here to take care of the rest of the family. They're started here. And this young boy will be in Mexico trying to learn how to fend for himself. What an ugly thing to do. Or let's say that we have a U.S. citizen-born child here, but he'll go back to Mexico with his parents and learn all of the Mexican ways and the Mexican customs and know nothing about how our system works. Now that doesn't make sense, because when he gets a little bit older, he can come back. And what are you going to do with a kid who grew up in Mexico, who understands Mexican systems, but he has no knowledge of the American system? It sets us up for failure before the very moment we start. That's why we talk about comprehensive immigration reform, because it resolves several issues at the one time. First of all, it takes care of border security, and then it takes care of resolving the problems of the people that are here, the 14 million people that are here. By the way, a $2,000 fine per person will yield something in the range of $2,500,000. And if the fine ends up being $3,000 per person, it'll be about $3 million or $3 billion. It's a lot of money that we can put into the U.S. Treasury pocket. It's a lot of tax money you could be putting back into your pocket. Why not? What is the problem with that? So I'm here tonight to ask you to help us pass comprehensive immigration reform. The errors that were made from my point of view personally is that the Latino movement failed to reach out into mainstream English-speaking America and tell their stories. Tell the stories of the poor people starving to death in Mexico, and of the oppression and of the fear that is going on in Mexico, and why it makes sense for them to come here and live the American dream and help put money into your pocket and to make our country better. What does that hurt? The reality is, of course, is that it helps. They say it gets darkest before the dawn, and I can smell the dawn coming right up. So be ready, because we sure will be. God bless you, and stay safe. Thank you.